Let's talk about love, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Yeah, that song's gonna be stuck in my head for the rest of the night. That's great. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be doing the Contemporary Romance Reader book tag. Before we get into anything bookish, however, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what is the last contemporary romance book that you read. Like I said, this is a tag video. I was tagged by the wonderful Michelle's Library, and I'll put a link to her video in the cards up above. However, this tag was originally created by Pretty Purple Polka Dots, and her video will be linked in the description down below. Definitely go check out both of those. I'm so glad this is focusing on contemporary romances because that's kind of my niche. Jumping right into the questions. First up, what's the first contemporary romance you remember reading? I definitely think it was probably The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This not only kicked off my interest into contemporary romance books, it also kicked off my interest into John Green, who was an author that I really loved for quite a long time. Many of his works were very impactful and influential to me, especially in my teenage years. I also think this was probably one of the first books that really got me on my kick of sad books. I don't know why, I really liked sad books when I was in high school for some reason. I do remember that when I was reading this book, I finished it in the middle of Spanish class my freshman year of high school, and I started crying in the middle of class, and the guy in front of me finally turned around and was like, "Are you okay?" Because I just had tears pouring down my face. I was then evil and made a bunch of my friends go to see the movie with me, and I started crying literally at the halfway point and didn't stop until the movie ended. Next question. What's the last contemporary romance you read? As of the time I am filming this, it was Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Heron Blake. Short and sweet, I really enjoyed it. I think it lived up to the hype. Next question. Who are your favorite contemporary romance authors? Definitely have to say Sarah Hogle. I do not own any of her books. I had one at one point, but I actually annotated it and gave it to a friend for Christmas. I loved both of her works, Twice Shy as well as You Deserve Each Other. I think she's hilarious. She manages to balance the line between comedy and adorableness very well. 100% recommend her if you enjoy rom-coms. I do actually have an arc for her next book, which is going to be coming out in October, and I'm so excited for it. I think it's actually a Christmas romance. Along with her, definitely have to say Emily Henry. I have loved both Beach Read as well as People We Meet on Vacation. I haven't read Book Lovers yet. I was literally just thinking about today that I should go and buy a copy because I was really hoping Book of the Month was gonna have her latest book. Unfortunately, they did not. So that means I have to go buy a copy from the store. Oh well. I am actually planning to take all of her books with me whenever I go on vacation in June and read them. I just think they're perfect vacation reads, and I also just really want to reread these two and annotate them a little bit. I'm pretty sure I will. I really enjoy her character work. Her writing is very strong, and the romance she builds between her characters is just so adorable and wonderful. Next question. Who are your favorite underrated contemporary romance authors? So I also think Sarah Hogle could kind of fit into this one. I think You Deserve Each Other did get a decent amount of hype, but in comparison to a lot of other romance books out there, I don't think it gets near the amount of attention. Twice Shy, I've literally not heard anyone else talk about, but I really enjoyed it. I also would say Annabeth Albert. I have read 2 books from her, and I've really enjoyed both of them. Again, I haven't heard many other booktubers or reviewers talk about her stuff, but I did have a great time with both Conventionally Yours as well as Out of Character. She does have many other romance books out there, however, which I've considered diving into some of them. I do know she has this like Oregon bakery scene novella series that sounds really adorable and has very cute covers as well. And then finally, I'm going to say Suzanne Harcum and Owen White. They author a webcomic that I've been obsessed with for many years now. I've related it as pretty similar to Heartstopper, particularly at the beginning, but it's been going for so long now that I think the boys are both graduated, getting real official jobs and living together. It's so cute, very wholesome, very sweet, and I think the romance they develop between the two main characters is wonderful. So I definitely think both of those ladies deserve a lot more attention. Next up, what book do you recommend to a contemporary romance beginner? Oh, ironic. I would definitely say Heartstopper by Alice Oseman for this one. It's super sweet, quick graphic novels that really just bring a smile to your face. The main focus of the first 2 volumes is purely the romance alone. They don't really dive into the side plots until later down. Everyone who has ever read this series loves it, just has nothing but praise. So so definitely have to say that one. Another one that also is quite hyped, but I do think it's for a good reason, is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This one, while it does have a good bit of romance in it, I think it does a fantastic job of establishing both the characters, having side plots that go around both of the characters' lives, enough other events that are taking place that the main focus of the story, which is romance, is not terribly overpowering if you don't have a lot of experience there. This also definitely has that rom-com feel throughout it, which keeps you interested if you, again, aren't really a big romance person, but hopefully the comedy will win you over. Like I said, I think this is hyped for a reason. And then finally, I would say She Drives Me Crazy by Kelly Quindlen. This is a YA romance that has enemies to lovers, fake dating, and then some side plots to go along with the main romance that is being developed. I think this one also has very strong character work in it. You can tell that's something that I really enjoy in my romance books, is character work. It is YA, and while there are some discussions of more adult topics, there isn't really any spice going on throughout it, so that's another thing that might be more interesting for some people who don't really have any experience in romance and aren't quite sure how they're gonna feel about spice. Start with something that doesn't really have anything, and maybe you can like gradually work your way in. What are your favorite and least favorite contemporary romance tropes? Okay, this one I know will spark some conversation. Everybody has their favorite romance trope, and honestly, I'm not unusual in saying my favorite is enemies to lovers. In real life, that sounds absolutely terrible, but in a book, I really appreciate that there is so much passion between two individuals that eventually it just ends up imploding and they have feelings for one another. Bonus points if the people can admit they're attracted to the other person while still hating them. It also just leads to hilarious situations and fun banter, which is something I really enjoy as well. Second chance romance is another trope that I really love seeing, but unfortunately I don't have the longest list when it comes to this trope. Definitely give me second chance romance recommendations above all else. On top of that, I feel like everybody enjoys a only one bed situation. Awkward, weird, but definitely means there's going to be some fun times. And then on top of that, forced proximity. I mean, hello, taking both the characters, putting them together, and then just seeing what's going to come out of it. Fantastic. So fun. Bonus points if you can add enemies to lovers in with that. On the opposite side, a few of my least favorite tropes. Bullying. Definitely have seen that some authors go a little bit too far when it comes to enemies to lovers and they end up in bully territory. Not something I enjoy. I also do not really like alpha males with demure females. I figured out that I don't mind an alpha male hero if the heroine can stand up to him and has just as much of a backbone. Definitely thinking about the Charlie Davidson series there. Reyes is 100% an alpha male, but he meets his match in Charlie because she does not back down. She will go head on in arguments with him. Along with those is insta-love. I can read insta-love, but like I am definitely not going to be nearly as invested in the relationship in comparison to if the author had taken the time to develop the relationship, meaning there's more time for me to have faith in this relationship going somewhere. Finally is one that I actually don't think I've ever read a book with this trope, but I just don't really see myself enjoying it, and that is Secret Baby. I've never read a book that has this, but I don't think it would work for me. I don't really want to read one with it, if I'm being honest. Anyway, I think I've officially talked out that question. Next up, what are your favorite contemporary romance settings? Love a good small town. Definitely think that that's a easy atmosphere to be set in, especially if the author can really make that area come to life within the book. I really appreciate that. Workplace romances are also pretty good, particularly if it has anything to do with books. Next question. What was your favorite contemporary romance you read last year? Conventionally Yours by Annabeth Albert. I think this was on my best books of 2021 and definitely recommend this. If you've enjoyed Red, White, and Royal Blue, I definitely think you should try this out. Has very similar feels. I've talked about this book ad nauseum, so here is me recommending it once again. Next question. What are your top 3 all-time favorite contemporary romance reads? In terms of my reading life, I did have my section of being really into YA contemporary romances, but I really have only revisited this genre relatively recently, so most of these books are also fairly recent reads. Like I just said, Conventionally Yours by Annabeth Albert, 100%. I actually really want to reread this eventually. I know I would love it just as much as I did the first time around. Beach read Made by Emily Henry. I also really loved this one, probably because I think all of the big things that I really enjoy in romance books, this had all those put together. Enemies to lovers, second chance at the same time, not to mention books, and then a small town setting, strong character work, especially having both of the main characters self-reflect on their own issues, and then seeing how it's impacting the relationship. I really love that. And then finally, You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. This one, unfortunately, I do not own. I really need to go buy my own copy. I don't know why I don't have it. This has many of the things I just said with Beach Read that I really enjoyed, not to mention it is absolutely hilarious, 100% a rom-com. Definitely recommend this one too. Next question. What are your most anticipated contemporary romance releases this year? So I am not the best at staying up to date when it comes to anticipated releases, if I'm being honest. However, I think almost all of these I've requested as arcs on NetGalley, and that's probably a big reason that I'm even aware of them. First is A Very Merry Bromance by Liza K. Adams. I honestly thought this series was over with the 4th book, so whenever I found out there was a 5th, yeah, I was definitely jumping in. Although I will say the 1st book I loved most, and it has kind of gone downhill over the last few books. She doesn't burn me too bad. I always have a good time reading this, and I love the found family in the book club, so definitely going to be checking that one out. After that is Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogle, which I already told you I have an arc of, and I cannot wait to get around to it. And then finally is Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake by Maisie Eddings. I recently read Maisie Eddings' first book, A Brush with Love, for a arc reading vlog. Put a link to that in the cards, but I really enjoyed that one, and I'm very excited to see more of Maisie Eddings' work. I don't think it has a secret baby trope, but I do think it has a baby involved. Accidental pregnancy trope, I guess. But I'm intrigued to see how I feel about that, because I don't think I've read any other book that has that kind of a trope before. I would have said Book Lovers by Emily Henry, but by the time this video comes out, that book should actually be out. Finally, tag some contemporary romance lovers to take this tag. So first, I think I'm gonna do Ray at Bookmark Chronicles. I know she has been trying to find more romance books that she really enjoys, but I would be interested to hear about the romance books she's already read. Next is Remarkably Lisa, who is a romance booktuber that I follow, and while she does read a lot of historical romance, she does have a fair amount of contemporary on her channel as well. And then finally is NerdyNatReads. Amanda also is a big romance reader. She does pretty much across the board anything romance, she'll read it, and I definitely want to know what are some of her favorite contemporary romances. Okay guys, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all my socials linked in the description if you are interested in keeping up with what I am reading. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!